Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the viral debate surrounding the highly discussed book, Invisible Women, and we're going to decode the really complex data hidden inside it. This book has sparked a massive amount of online chatter, but honestly, a lot of that debate comes from people who've only picked up on a few isolated statistics without actually digging into the heavy, study-based material itself. So today, we're going to unpack the actual worldwide studies and facts presented in the text. Right off the bat, let's just address the elephant in the room. Right after finishing this heavy read, a reviewer mentioned that her own husband actually came up and asked this exact question. Are we now men-hating? Do we just hate all men? And look, it's a totally natural reaction when confronting uncomfortable topics, but the answer is a resounding no. This explainer is strictly about objective facts, worldwide statistics, and structural realities. It's not about emotional agendas.
So here's the core concept we really need to nail down to understand all the statistics we're about to explore. Unconscious gender bias. The research makes it crystal clear that a lot of what we're going to look at today isn't done intentionally. It's simply the result of systems and data collection methods being done the exact same way for so long that society doesn't even realize the bias is there. We're looking at a systemic blind spot, not some grand conspiracy.
Now, if you're expecting a collection of anecdotal, real-time personal experiences, kind of like the stories shared in books like Everyday Sexism, you'll definitely want to shift your perspective. Invisible Women is a completely different beast. It's a heavy, sometimes tedious read filled with worldwide statistics and facts that span from decades ago all the way into the present day. It is entirely study-based, which gives us a really hard, analytical look at the numbers. Here's our roadmap for today. We're moving from more than just anecdotes into the unpaid second shift, the deadly medical gap, how things are designed for men, and finally, the missing global data. Let's jump in. Section 1. The unpaid second shift. The source material hits this same note over and over again, honestly to the point where it almost feels repetitive, but that repetition just reflects the reality of the numbers. Across the board, worldwide studies consistently show that women are far more likely to be the default carers. Whether it's looking after elderly family relatives, taking care of young children, or nursing sick family members, the data points to women absorbing this massive workload completely unpaid. And think about this stark divide in daily lived experiences here. When it comes to the post-work home, the data shows that men are more likely to return from a day of work and experience the house as a place of leisure and relaxation. Meanwhile, women are statistically much more likely to view coming home as just an extension of their work, stepping through the door only to immediately begin tidying up, cleaning, and prepping food. This unconscious bias effectively turns the home into a literal second shift of unpaid labor. Moving on to Section 2, the deadly medical gap. 50%. Just let that sink in for a second. Because the majority of historical medical trials and studies have been conducted almost exclusively on the male body, it instantly disadvantages half of the entire population. The teachings of the medical profession have been largely shaped by male data, leaving this massive, dangerous void when it comes to understanding female health. I mean, it sounds incredibly obvious when we say it out loud, right? Men and women are fundamentally built differently. We hold muscle in different areas, our skeletal structures are distinct, and yet the research reveals that historical medical data completely ignores these basic physiological realities, essentially treating the male body as the default human template for everyone. Let's track exactly how this plays out in the real world with something like heart attack treatment. It's a shocking chain reaction. Step 1. The medical trials are based on male bodies. Step 2, the medical community establishes the standard heart attack symptom as that traditional chest clutching we see all the time on TV. But Step 3, women often display entirely different symptoms. Step 4, because these don't match the default male symptoms, women's symptoms get ignored. And Step 5, which is truly alarming, women are often misdiagnosed in a mental health capacity when they're actually having a heart attack. A simple gap in baseline data is literally leading to life-threatening misdiagnoses. Section 3, designed for men. Let's look at a pretty horrifying reality about everyday design. Historically, crash test dummies have been built mirroring the average male body, specifically tailored to male muscle and skeleton placement. But because women have a different physical structure, they're often pushed much closer to the steering wheel in a crash. They sustain entirely different injuries than the dummies were even designed to test for. The ultimate result? Because car safety was essentially designed around men's skeletons, women actually have a significantly higher likelihood of dying in a car accident. Section 4. The missing global data. If we zoom out, from modern technology all the way to everyday urban design, there is this massive void in how we collect human data.
A huge amount of the data running our modern world is collected solely from men, and this leaves women at a systemic disadvantage across literally all fields. We are trying to build a functional world for everyone using a blueprint that only bothered to measure half the population.
Now, to be clear, we need to note an important exception for nuance here. While we've mostly focused on unconscious bias, things done without malicious intent, not all bias is accidental. When analyzing global data regarding how women are treated in different countries when it comes to sexual assault, the research exposes appalling, deliberate systems of control at play. That specific data reveals mechanisms that are very intentional and honestly incredibly hard to read about. As we wrap up, we have to circle back to the core thesis of this explainer. Facing these heavy, sometimes tedious, and very often shocking realities is not about pushing an emotional ideal. It's not about pointing fingers. As the research definitively proves, this is simply about looking at objective facts, figures, and studies. It's about recognizing our reality so we can finally start building better data sets. I want to leave you with this provocative thought. What actually happens when the data running our world only tells half the story? We've seen the answer today, from endless unpaid labor and life-threatening medical misdiagnoses to fatal car design flaws. The invisible data gap affects everything. So I challenge you to look at the world around you this week and ask yourself, what other invisible biases might be hiding right in plain sight? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the data.